Hey guys, if you've just tuned in, give me a second. I'm going to organize the tech here and make sure I've got Kylie on the line at the same time. And we're going to talk all things how to sell and create products online so that people click and buy. Now, I think that's done. Just give me a sec. And it should be, let's have a look. See if we can get Kylie on here at the same time. So if you've just jumped on, can you say hi that you can hear me? Because I'm not sure who that is. I'm trying to get Kylie on the line, the screen at the same time so that you can see her and you can see me as well. Can you hear me, guys? Well, there's somebody there watching. Is that you, Kylie? Yes. Okay. Me. Done the same thing. It says block, delete, or pin. It doesn't give me the option. Far out, hey. All right. What to do? Should we run it from your page and share it over? Can you share it into my group? Can you share it into my group? Would that work? Can't think of what else to do. It's a little bit annoying. And I tap on your icon. When I tapped on one of the girls that jumped on before, when I tapped on her, oh, hang on a sec. I'll do it again. Hey, Diana, give us, it's done it. Kylie, I'm about to invite you to the broadcast. Yay, I was about to lose my shit. Hey guys, if you're joining, I'm inviting you on, Kylie. We're going to talk all things tech and building funnels. So, my version. Hey, Kylie.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me do one thing.
You're there. It's exciting. So, guys, what a funnel is if you've ever bought anything, actually, there's funnels, and it's not just online when you think about it. When a person comes into your business, they come in via what? Maybe a complimentary session. Maybe they come in via small and group sessions. Maybe they download your ebook. How do they actually get to know you? And then what's the next thing that they purchase? What's the next thing that you offer them? And then after that, what's the next thing that you offer them? And the next, and the next. And that's simply called a funnel. So that's my basics explanation, Kylie, of what a funnel is. And the online world seems to have taken that and run with it. And now there's all these online sales funnels where you have a page that sells your product, and then the next page, and the next page, and the next page. It doesn't need to be that complex. But what can you tell us that we really need to know about all these online pages and online sales, for example?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right now?
Perfect.
Good. Yeah. Sorry. I think it's because I was live on my laptop and not my phone. Isn't that funny? So, because that was when you got me because I joined from my phone. So maybe you can't do it when you're live on your laptop. So that's why you couldn't find me. So, hey guys. Yeah. So all things funnels. So yeah. So, I mean, I kind of, do the same thing when I talk about sales funnels. I try and keep it as simplistic as possible. Loads of jargon out there about what it is. But, you know, it really, all it is like you said, it's taking someone that doesn't know you through a process where they get to know you and then buy from you. That's it. So it doesn't have to be any more complicated. Hey, Diana, any more complicated than that. It's just a process. But the idea with obviously creating sales funnels and why there's so much hype about them at the moment is because ideally what you want to try and do is automate them as much as possible. So that it makes your life easier. So you're never chasing clients, you're not having to run around, and you ideally want to probably automate at least half of it. So then what happens is you get this automation happening, you get these clients coming through, they're going through the process of getting to know, like, and trust you. And then what happens is you never have to chase clients again, because by setting up these processes and systems in place, there's a couple of things it does. It positions you normally as the expert up front. So it's like, hey, cool, I'm now the expert. And you're giving away value, giving away some training. You're probably selling something at low end pricing. which is then obviously position you as the expert in that field. I find the challenging part is getting people over to the website. Okay, websites are the hardest things to get people across to, and the only way to get good people across to your website is good content. But I wouldn't do a sales funnel necessarily across to your website. But there are ways to do that, and we'll talk about traffic and talk about how to do that as we go along. So the idea of the funnel is to systemize your client attraction. So you can systemize people coming across to your website if you want to do that. And I know a lot of people that now actually start the beginning of their funnel with good blog posts and with good challenges, because then that way you're then feeding that funnel through basically providing great value. So there's various different ways you can get traffic. Yeah, opt-ins, that's it. So that's the first part of the funnel, is having an opt-in. And that's basically getting someone's name and email. And that's all you want to do.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you for actually just explaining what that is. So let's just presume that these guys that are on, I don't know what they know, so we'll presume that most of them know nothing about tech stuff. Lots of them that I've spoken to have done online courses, so they have a bit of an idea of what an email marketing system is and all that stuff. But let's even explain simple jargon like what an opt-in is, where someone obviously gives you your email address for providing them with information, an ebook or
Beautiful.
a PDF or whatever.
Yeah, so I'll go through each section if you like. So, so the other key thing about having funnels is what you ideally want to do is also pay for your marketing budget. So by having low-end products, it will pay for your marketing budget, so that, again, you're not having to then feed the client funnel base, it's feeding you. And it also pre-qualifies people. That's the other thing people forget about having funnels in place, is if your time's really valuable and you're really busy, you want to be talking to people, or you want to be having discussions with people that are pre-qualified. And the other benefit of a funnel is that does it for you, because as people drop out of the funnel or they drop into different sections of the funnel, it means that they're either really hot and, oh my God, they have to have this today, or they're just being nosy, they're going to take a look, they're going to suss you out, and they're going to take a little bit longer to convert. So they're the key benefits of having these funnels in place.
Yeah, which you're right. It doesn't matter what happens or at what time they buy it. You're building credibility with them, and it's automating the process. Now, automating the process,
exactly.
the tech to actually get the content out there to automate the process is. I just find it harder to explain. So if you could explain how that process works, that'd be great.
Shall we talk? I was going to go, should we talk the kind of the elements of each funnel, and then at the end we'll talk about kind of some of the best tech ways of doing that. How does that work? So if we talk about
sure. What do you mean the elements of each funnel?
Yeah. So I mean, I created a new lead magnet just for this, and it's only just come back from my designer, like literally 10 minutes before the webinar. So I'll add that to the bottom of this video afterwards, but it'll show you what I call generally, and this works for kind of I think most of the types of businesses you guys are in, because obviously it's all fitness training, it's all that sort of element. And I call it my lifestyle freedom funnel. It's basically about trying to create your freedom in your business as much as possible. So the general elements of a funnel like that is, one, we'll talk about traffic, but we'll talk about traffic at the end, because that can be anything and there's different elements to traffic. But obviously the first part of every funnel is a capture. It's where you capture your audience. And this is known as, like you said, opt-ins, landing pages, I don't know, email signups, whatever it is, they basically call all these different things. But basically, it's a way to capture the details of the people that are either watching you, interested in you, seeing what you're all about. So, and what you're doing is just giving something away of value to them. So, and we call that a lead magnet. It's something to attract them, so they call it a lead magnet. And that goes on
Can I also
your opt-in page.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, ask me. Yep.
Okay. Can I just define for the girls what traffic even means? Traffic just means visitors to your site, and you want lots of visitors to your site. Just there's so much jargon here, and we take for granted that we know it. And I only know now because from talking to my girls, they're like, oh, I've got no idea what you just said.
Okay, cool.
About even me. I didn't realize how much I do know.
Yeah.
No, all good. Anyway,
No,
that's
that's
what
good.
traffic
Yeah,
is.
but
And
yeah,
yeah,
pick up
okay,
anything like that. Anything you want me to explain in deeper. Yeah. So yeah, traffic is like having a shop
yeah.
front, and it's just having people walking past and coming in. Simple as that. So online we call that traffic because it's where the people literally would either normally, if you had a brick and mortar business, they'd be walking past your door, and you'd be trying to find a way to entice them into your shop. So it's the passerbyers that we attention. So hence the reason I call it capture, because it's like you've got to grab their attention with something. And that's normally something like you said, you give away for free. And we call that a lead magnet because it's a magnet to attract your leads, which is obviously jargon. But basically, it's just a way to go, hey guys, I might have something that can help you. So you're giving something away. And ideally, it's something that does solve one of their problems. Oh, Diana's got to go. So bye, Diana. We'll catch you later in the replay. So it's something that you're giving away for free that solves some of their problems. So ideally you want to think about, and we'll talk about kind of how to set the funnel up later, but ideally what you want to talk about is what are your ideal clients. So if you've got ideal clients and you know who they are, you know who you like to work with, what's one of the problems that you know they face on a daily basis? And how can you solve that for them easily? So giving away a lead magnet, ideally what you want your lead magnet to be is something that is easily digestible. So it means that they can actually download it quickly, they can watch it quickly. It gives a taste of what you're all about. So basically it's just something that speaks to a pain point. So ideally you want to solve something. So for you guys, it could be something like, you know, a 7-day shopping list checklist if you're talking about weight loss. If you're talking about fitness angle, it could just be really, you know, the number one exercise for stomach building muscles or whatever it is, something like that. So it's something you're giving away that solves one key problem. And you know your ideal clients have that problem to start with. And we'll talk about congruency through the funnel at a later stage. We'll go a bit more deeper. But basically, that's what you're doing. So it can be, yeah, like it could be a 7-day shopping list. It could be a meal plan. It could be a recipe. It could be, you know, what's the 3 best pieces of equipment to have at home for your home gym or something like that. So whatever it is, you know, that they struggle with on a daily basis. And you create that into, like you said, either a simple PDF that they can download. It could be a downloadable video. It could be an audio if you don't like being behind the camera. I know lots of people that just do audios. So a lot of people give away like meditations, things like that. They're great lead magnets for meditation. So people can download them. They get instant access to them. People like instant gratification. So anything you can think of that they can instantly use, instantly maybe help them with something, that's what you want to do. And don't be scared to give away sometimes some of your best stuff. Because this is where you make the first impression. It's like going out on a date. If you turn up in your joggers and your trainers, you know, or you turn up in a nice suit and look smart, you know, you're going to get some traction. Yeah, you know, it's like, this is your first impression. This is what people are going to see of you. But you're better off having something out there than something that's perfect as well. So don't, whatever you do, put stuff off. I see this a lot. Don't put stuff off because you want to make it pretty and perfect, and then you never get anything out there either. So, but there's a balance. It is the first impression. So it's the first chance people get to know you. They get to understand what you're about. And ideally, you want to solve that problem. So that is what you create. And then you put it on a landing page or an opt-in page, which is just basically a web, it's really a web page where someone then obviously puts in their name, their email, and then they get access to that document. And that's all an opt-in page is, or a landing page. And you can do that via a couple of different methods, and we'll talk about the different tech at the end. We'll go through it. But basically, that's all it is. And again, the key thing to that is when you have something that you're giving away, is make sure that your landing page is congruent. So ideally, congruency is one of the key things through any funnel. Is if they see, for example, if you decide to do some traffic and you're running adverts, like you see so many adverts, I'm sure all of you have scrolled through your thing and you've seen adverts. One of the keys to always think about is congruency. So if they see something on an advert, you want to make sure you copy across the language and ideally the image at least. And we go through a checkpoint. I normally go through a checkpoint with people, but to actually make sure that what they see there when they hit your landing page. And that's really important because then they know they've done the right thing and they're not distracted. So they've gone, oh, okay, I've seen that advert. Oh, yeah, that's the advert I've seen. Now I want that document. So you want to keep congruency as much as possible. And the best ones you see have got the same pictures, the same text, and the same language. And then all they have is the email inbox to go with it, so that they go, okay, great, here you go. This is how you access. Yeah, exactly. It's really key to keep that the same. Because if you go, because what happens is you'll get a disconnect. People get disconnected and distracted really quickly. So if they've seen an advert and then they go to a landing page and it looks nothing like, or doesn't sound anything like what they originally saw in the advert, they'll just disconnect, turn off and go, oh no, that's not what I was interested in. See you later. So you lose people very, very quickly by having that lack of congruency. And you need that all the way through your funnel as much as possible. And the other thing is, ideally, if you're creating lead magnets, the one thing to go back to is, if you don't understand who your ideal market is, you will never create successful funnels. So you have to go and understand who your target market is first. And I know, I'm sure you do lots of this with them anyway, so it's probably teaching them to suck eggs on this bit. But, you know, if you haven't got clarity, obviously talk to Kate, because you have to understand your clients with depth, and understand their pains and their problems for you to create successful funnels for them. So if you haven't gone through that process, or you're still a bit unsure, then you need to go back to that process, because otherwise your funnels are never going to work, because you're going to speak to your ideal market and they're never going to have pains and problems throughout the process. So you literally will lose traction somewhere. I had a girl recently who had a great $10 product. And this was about basically helping people leave work. So she's an escape 9-to-5 type of coach. And she had this great product which spoke to that market fabulously, and it was converting all day long. $10 product, she'd get sales, $10, $10, $10. But she never got anything else from it. And I said to her, I said, the disconnect was, I said, but you don't teach that. You actually teach how to get a freedom business, which actually normally people have already left their jobs and they want freedom. So of course, when she was then offering her next product, there was no congruency. So she was actually getting the wrong market onto her list. So, you know, you can have all these small sales and have these people come into your list, but if they're the wrong people for the end product, then you're never going to get higher end sales. So, and hence the reason I always talk about reverse engineering your sales funnels as well, which is getting a bit more technical, but it is starting from the end point in mind.
Yeah, totally. But it's technical in that we're calling it a funnel, but really another word for it, and what I use in a lot of the language of the videos that I make, is that's your package. It's one of the packages that you have to help people. It's the high-end package. That's what Kylie means when she says work backwards from there.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
What is that thing that they will end up eventually buying? They might come in and it might be a $30 session that they start with you, or an ebook. And as long as your message is the same, like women empowerment, women empowerment, women empowerment, I guess.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you're right. And I used to call that my product ecosystem, because all the products kind of work together to help. But someone in America said, what the hell's an ecosystem? Yeah. So I had to change language with that. So yeah, it is. And I always say the power of 3 is really important, especially when you're getting started, is having a low end, a middle and a high end. And that's because you want different points of entry as well. People come in at different entry points. So like someone that's been following you maybe for a year already and watching your stuff or seeing your videos and whatever, sometimes they don't want to mess around with the low stuff. They want to come in and just work with you. When they're ready, they decide that's it. So if you don't have, and this is where I see a lot of people leave money on the table, and working with a massive fitness kind of weight loss guys over here at the moment, who have this high-end program. They fill constantly. They fill it off of TV. They're known on some of the big programs over here, and they get clients like nothing. So they're a couple of grand a week boot camp, sold out all the time. And normally they've got a wait list because they can only take a certain amount of people, but they've got nothing else. So that's all they've ever offered. So now we're filling in those gaps with a lower end, couple of low end products, a membership site, so that they've got some downsells, they've got some other stuff to invite people into. And I know they're going to do 6 figures on both of those, I reckon, really quickly, because people want to work with them, but can't always do that high end stuff. So if you have that in place, and it takes a bit of time, sometimes, like you said, you might just start with your high end. I always recommend start with high end, get some money in the bank and then start building out the rest of your funnel first. And a lot of people try and start their businesses backwards as well. Like they try and start with these low end cheap products, which is great, but it doesn't give you the money to actually then build your business. So starting with a high end, I always recommend anyway. So capturing is the first step. That is your first step in your funnel. You have to have a way to capture people coming past or seeing you onto your list where you can then develop a relationship with them. And the next thing I would like to talk about is a way to convert them. And it's a kind of an extended version of the capturing, because basically it's a way to convert them into a warmer lead. So someone that knows you better, that understands what you're about. And you're giving away some of that in your lead magnet, but ideally you want some way that's on video, because video is the quickest way for people to get to know, like, and trust you. So ideally you want something like a webinar. Webinars still convert at the highest. If you look at the most successful coaches out there in any way, shape or form, still run consistent webinars. And they do that because the conversion rate from them is so high into their products. So having a method and a process like that, again, can be automated and set up and done so that you can actually then convert them into those warmer. So you're taking someone, again, that's a bit cold, doesn't really know you very well, to actually giving them some education, giving them a bit of more of a feel about what you're about, and then it's much easier to sell to them. So having that sort of thing, a lot of people do it with challenges now. So challenges is another big way. You see a lot of people doing like a 5-day challenge, or I was just recently, like I said, I was telling Kate about a boot camp I joined because I wanted to test it for one of my clients, but I joined the weight loss boot camp because I wanted to see what was going on. 14-day fat shocker challenge. And that works really well because it gave me a taste of what it was like within 14 days. So, you know, he was doing live videos every day, so I got to know him really well. There was a ebook to follow along with, so you could follow along with your recipes, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to have. So it was a really simple process, and it was a low-end product. It starts at $29 and goes up to $179 if you want someone to work with for those 14 days. So having those sorts of challenges in place becomes the next sell a bit of a no-brainer sell, because once you get in and get to know someone, you want to keep working with them if you get the results or if you get the feeling that they're going to be able to help you long term. So having challenges, again, works really well because, again, it's obviously really quick way for them to get to know you. Speaking's another way. I know you love running events and stuff, don't you, Kate? So, you know, speaking is another way for people to get to know, like, and trust you really quickly. It breaks down the barriers very, very, very quickly, which you need to do online just as much as you do offline. So having some sort of way to convert them. So that's kind of what I talk about when I talk about converting. It's using videos or live in some way, shape or form. And all that does then is educates them, provides them with value, and it shows, again, your expertise. So you're the expert. I know my topics inside out. So here you go. And then you make the first offer to them. So, and this is where, again, so your product ecosystem will come in here. What we talked about is having products. So you want to create your products, like we said, something low end, something ideally medium-ish, and then have your high-end product. And again, reverse engineering, your high-end should be you. It should be the one-on-one stuff. A lot of coaches obviously used to have the business model where they would work for an hour, get charged by the hour, and that was the cheapest product in their services. But actually you want to reverse your business model so that you become more exclusive, you become harder to be around, and actually people pay you the most to spend time with you, not the other way around. And by having these other products in place, yeah, definitely.
Purely because there's only enough hours, there's not enough hours in the day. I mean, most of the girls probably that are even in this group are mums.
Yep.
There's not enough hours in the day. You're pretty soon, that was my realization, to realize I don't have, every half hour is gold. Every 15-minute section of life is.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, that's not what you started your business for either. You know, that's one thing I got so passionate about learning about this sort of stuff was, you know, most people didn't start their business to create another job for themselves. You know, they started business for freedom, like to have that freedom and flexibility to be with their kids or to do what I do. I love traveling, so I travel more. you know, it's like, that's why you started your business in the first place. So it's like having these systems and processes allow you some of that time freedom back, which is the most valuable. Hello, Penny. Thank you. This was really nice. Such good info. Yay. So yeah, so
Hey,
having these, and this,
I
yeah,
can't see anyone's comments. Oh, there they are. Sorry, I need to
ah.
swipe to the right. See, technology. Thanks for the lesson.
Oh yeah, you were probably
Okay,
still
let's go
swipe
watch
left, were you?
Oh, now I see everyone's comments. Yeah, I was. Anyway, sorry,
I
guys.
lost you for a second.
Good. Glad it's good. Hey, Nicole. I can see you guys all jumping on. Okay. Sorry, Kylie.
No, you're okay. You're fine. Hey, they're your group. You're allowed to say hello to your own group, Kate. I know I like to take over, but not that much.
You can take over. Go for it. Guys, we just jumped on. We've got Kylie from the UK, who's a funnel expert, meaning you have different forms of products. Your clients will come into your business at various stages of those products, and we're talking about the tech in between all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about products at the moment. So again, the key thing for products is to make sure that, obviously, like we said, you have different price points. That's really important. It allows you scalability. So ideally, what I would say to people is your first 2 products shouldn't really involve you much at all. So, or a worst case scenario, if you've got a middle range product, they might just involve like a group coaching call or something like that. But ideally, as much as possible, you want to start to funnel yourself out of the business for the first couple of products as much as possible, so that, again, this is your filtering process. So you start to filter people into the seriousness of, do they really want to work with you? And this is where your time becomes so much more valuable, because you start to then work with people that have already gone through a bit of a process and they know they just have to have you. They have to have more of you. So that's really important. So your product should funnel people into that higher end product. And this is, and it also allows you scalability, because this is where a lot of people get stuck, is they get business models that they can't then scale. So converting from the one-to-one stuff to, like you said, either a group program, and having a combination, like a lot of people saying courses don't work at the moment, or who wants to sell courses? But of course they do. You know, low-end courses work all the time. You know, having low-end products somewhere around the $7 to up to $47 sell all day long. They're great taster products. Normally I do my products via video. I know one girl that creates her whole product base via PDF. I can't believe she charges what she does for PDFs, but she seems to sell it. Good luck to her. But I like the video aspect, because for me that gets the know, like, and trust factor. Again, they're getting to know you more and more. So videos for me is one of the most powerful things you can do. Even if it's just a voiceover video over content, they're still hearing your voice, they're still getting to know you, and they're still getting to understand who you are. So creating, and I'll talk about actually how to create a product shortly. But yeah, so again, the key is you want to filter people through to your high end. So when you create your low end products, always have that high end one in mind. So think about who those target market is. So I'll use weight loss as a classic example, because it's such an easy one everyone gets. You know, if you've got someone and you're charging for a 5 or 10 grand program, for example, to help someone lose weight and get fit and get their life back on track, they're not going to be the average Joe Blow that wants to lose 5 pounds to get into their dress for the weekend or whatever. Or, you know, I've got to lose 5 pounds to get into my wedding dress and be able to breathe. You know, they're not going to likely to spend that sort of money to really solve that problem. So you've got to dig deeper. Who is it that would spend that money to really solve that problem? So people that are considering maybe gastric bands, people that are considering maybe diabetes or health issues, people that are maybe considering, you know, it's jeopardizing their business or their job or their life, they're the ones that are likely to spend that money. So when you create low-end products, they have to speak to that market. Because this is where the congruency is key. If you then go and put out a quick, say, a checklist on, you know, how to lose 5 pounds tomorrow to get into your hot jeans or whatever, guess what? You're going to do that. You're going to solve their problem. Then you're going to lose them, because they're going to go, thanks, you solved my problem. So you've got to start to speak the language and solve the people at the end. And they can be little things. So, for example, with my funnel, I start with obviously a 7-step course checklist, because it's just how to create your course. I have a low end product, which is about creating courses. So it's like, how do you create your first product online? So I have literally a step-by-step video course. It's $29 all day long. Because then I go into talking about funnels, because it's like, well, great, you created your first product. Now, how do you put it all together? So then my next product is around funnels. And then if you want some implementation or you want to work with me and get support, here's the next product. So, but they all feature towards my end product, which is basically getting my support to create freedom in your business. So you reverse engineer backwards. And that's really important. So again, if you don't know who your high-end client is and where they're coming from, you'll never create the actually convert to those high-end clients. So, and that's where congruency is really the key and where I see a lot of people go wrong. Kate, you want to say something? I can see you going. Or have I got you thinking about
Oh, no, that's my brain ticking over,
Yeah.
actually. I'm thinking, like, guys, as much as I might have done this marketing stuff before, you can never do too much of it. And, you know, every couple of months, my business and ideas and things change. So it's my brain's ticking over again.
Yeah,
but I was going to say, and what these guys, all these guys that are watching in the group, like, you're all health coaches or own some kind of business that you want to help with marketing to do with help, some kind of marketing, blah, blah, blah. My point is, you already have the high-end offering, which is your services, which I'm always saying to you is actually the gold, which is whatever comes out of your mouth to help the person step by step through whatever it is they need to get through, which is the coaching, which is the part that you want to make a little bit more exclusive, because ideally, instead of having 10 people come on every month, you might have 100, and then you have less time. So let's make this obviously more time efficient for you, but you guys already know how to do the high end. Don't think that it's something that, you know, you've got to create, you don't know what it is. You actually already have it. It might be 12 months worth of training with you. It might be a retreat with you, which is 6 days or 3 days, whatever. It's bloody intense. It's like having kids for that long. You know, how many kids do you want? I don't want that. Oh, it is. It's not. I don't love them, but I have clients, got girls in the group that love them. And one just ran 2 retreats back to back, like one weekend, and then straight away did another one the following weekend.
Wow, that's impressive.
So
that's
do you
exhausting.
still promote your low-end products, or just have them available on your website? I'll let you, are you asking me, Penny, or are you asking Kylie? Do you still promote your low-end products?
Kate, get off.
Have them available on your website? Huh?
Kate, get off. I'll answer no. Just kidding. Yeah, but do you promote? Do you don't? You're only just starting to create low end products, aren't you, Kate?
With my girls, some of them actually, I've liked to push them all most of the way through the 90-day program, and then we start creating the low end at the end, because I want them to have money first.
Yeah. Totally, and that's definitely the way to go. Like, I cannot stress that enough. The amount of times I put people off working with me, going, you're not ready for this, this is not where you should be in your business, is really key. Like, you know, I turned someone down the other day because, like, she hasn't even got a business, and it's like, great, you've got a fantastic skill set, put a coaching package together and go out there and sell that first, all day long. Like you said, you're in business to make some money. And what that does is allows you the freedom to then start to pay for some traffic, to have that time to build the system and your following so that you can actually then start to create freedom in your business. So yeah, definitely. And you do promote your low end products, because what your low end product should do is, once you get that first, I guess, the first group of people. So say you had a sale on and you had 100 people walk through the door. What will happen is you'll start to see, what products sell well. You'll start to see how they convert. So how many do you convert roughly every 100 people? So say you convert 5 out of that 100 every time you do it. You know that you can get 100 people through your funnel and sell at least 5. So what should happen is that money then should cover those 100 people coming onto your list. So you do promote your products. Ideally, with Facebook, advertising is the cheapest and the most structured at the moment. And there's some, I'll share a couple of key tips at the moment with that at the end when we talk more about traffic. But yeah, ideally what should happen, and you won't do it the first time or maybe the second time around, because you're obviously just getting started. is you've got to test them. You have to spend a bit of time getting these right. But if you get it right, this allows for the scalability, because then you can start to predict some income. You can go, okay, if I know roughly every time I say do a webinar, I get 100 people onto my webinar, I sell, 10 at say 49, I know that my costs are covered for my advertising, but I've got these other 100 people on my list, which now I can upsell to as I go along, develop a relationship and sell to them. So I know my return on having someone onto my list is about £800 roughly. I'm still perfecting mine, because it's like, this is all new to me last year, doing my own products. I used to sell other people's products and knew that really well. But yeah, I know roughly now what a customer onto my list is worth. And ideally, that's where you want to get to. That's really advanced, is understanding your figures, because this is the freedom in your business. So, you can go, I always call it, we were joking about this, but I'm going to use this as an example. We were joking about this the other day, because obviously you guys are all into health and stuff, but it's like the sausage factory. It's like, if you feed it at the top, you turn the machine around, you pump out little sausages, you know how many you get, you know how much you can put in the top to how much you create your sausages at the bottom, which is obviously not a healthy way to eat, but you get the visual of, like, if you feed it, you turn it and you convert it, out comes the sales. And it's the same with this is what should happen in your sales funnel. You should be able to trap people on, you should be able to convert them across, and you should know roughly how many sales you'll get from that conversion. And ideally, if that's systemized and automated, you shouldn't have to deal with that at all. Once it's done and tested and perfected, then that can just run in the background all day long. Like, I know one coach that has a webinar that converts at something like 60%. She gets discovery calls from every time she runs that webinar. So if she's short on having client calls for her high-end program, guess what she does? Run that webinar, because she knows she's going to get about 60% conversion every time. So, if she's ever short of feeling like her business is struggling a bit, she just gets out and runs the same webinar. So you can then obviously feed your marketing budget. That's the key for me. Having low-end products feed your marketing budget, so it doesn't become an expense. It means that every time you sell a $7 or a $11 or a $15 product, whatever it is, low-end product, you then pay for your marketing budget to get those good leads onto your list at all times. So yes, you want to be promoting those low-end products, because they should be then covering the cost. So you'll cover the cost the first time round, and then ideally it should go through them from there. Have them available, but generally they don't sell it unless you promote them.
Sorry, I'm trying to answer Penny's question.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. And I just realized I actually can't fix my spelling mistakes, which I always make a lot of.
That's fine.
So Penny, because I didn't want to interrupt your flow. Keep going, Kylie.
Yeah. So you don't generally promote yours, is that right? So you have them available, but you don't promote them. See, I totally disagree with that.
No, no, she said, do you still promote your low-end products or just have them available on your site? And I said, I mean both.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
I will always promote them if they're created, or if, the second I have created something, and everyone creates things at a totally different speed, guys. Someone that, actually where I met Kylie, someone just creates something every 3 friggin' days. It takes me, I don't know, a couple of weeks of thinking about it, and then usually I'll just create it as I go. So it doesn't really take that long. But then I will re-execute that thing a couple of weeks or months later. I'll use the same thing. For fat loss, for example, my 28-day rapid results thing, I used to just relaunch that after everyone gets fat at Easter and Christmas and earn, another $1,000 off the product. It was $50.
Yeah.
So it was dearer than that to start with. Then it came down to $50. Now it's in a couple of my groups for free. And you've just got to keep creating content. But you do as much of that as what you find fun. So it's about finding the structure that you like. And like Kylie said before, I really like talking. So I would rather do a couple of seminars or even webinars, which I do, and then things happen from there, because I don't like the tech stuff. I'm like you guys. I'm a people person. Give me the people. Anyway, sorry, Kylie, go.
No, it's so true. And that's really awesome, because that's the joy, though, of creating products, is once you create them, you've got them. You know, they're there to use for whatever. So like you said, you can use them for a quick sale if you want to create some quick cash. You can use them, like you said, seasonal if they come out at different times. You can use them as bonuses, like you said, for other programs. So like like you said, if you're creating a higher end program, having some of these lower end stuff as bonuses is valuable. So that is the joy of creating products and creating these types of things, is that you can use them for different things all day long. You can, like you said, give them away for free as an enticer, you know, whatever it is. But once you create them, you've got them. And that's what people don't understand, that the value of actually creating products is huge in your business. And yeah, so have them on your website. Totally, they should be on your website and available all day long. But then, yeah, get creative. Think about it. Like you said, think about how you could use them down the track. You know, could you bundle some of them together? That's another thing. You know, sometimes bundling products and selling them at a slightly higher end. It's like, okay, I've got three $29 products. I could bundle them all together and have a one-off sale at 100. Suddenly, like you said, there's some cash flow. So yeah, the idea is obviously once you've created these, and that's why I love the power of them, is because again, it frees up more time later on down the track and creates more income whenever you need it. So yeah, so ideally you want to have these, what ideally you want is, like you said, is one really good high end. One of your, what I always call your signature product in between, which is mainly most people have their group program. Like I'm going to be launching a group mastermind. I haven't had a group program because I just haven't needed it yet, but I'm going to have a group mastermind program for me. And they're going to be my two core products. That's it. And then what I'll do is create lots of low end feeder type products. Like you said, short stuff that they can get in. I can basically teach them. I can teach them stuff that's going on in the marketplace as well. So it allows you to keep current with what's going on with the marketplace, but also but gives good grounding for your normal program. And you can then change it up really quickly. Like you said, you can create a product if you really want to in a day. Like you can just sit there and record 4 videos. You know, whatever it is you need to do, you can get creative very quickly around that. And that's again, like I'm sure with your clients, if you've got your high end, you know, they've got about 10 or 15 problems. So you could create a product around each one of those problems as feeder products if you really want to. Like one of the girls I was talking to the other day, she's got a 12-month program. So she's got 12 modules. And I said, well, you could have 12 different feeder products, one for each of those modules, and sell them separately. So they become your low-end product at, say, $29 or whatever. And then you're showing a part of the rest of the program. But what that does is it speaks to different markets, because the thing is like what's going to grab your attention is not necessarily going to grab my attention. And so you want to eventually have 2 or 3 different avenues that people get to see you. So like you said, I can talk courses on one thing, I can talk funnels on another, I can talk creating a freedom-based business on another. So they're 3 different things, but they're going to grab people's different attention. So you might get excited by one bit, but you're not ready for the other bit. But what you're seeing then is a bigger picture of a fuller program. So that's the way to, that's the other way to think about products in relation to kind of what you're creating, where you want people to go. And again, you're not having to recreate stuff either sometimes. If people forget, if they create it for a bigger program or a high end, you've got all that content, use it. You know, that's valuable content. There's nothing stopping you taking an element out of that and creating it into a lower end product. Does that make sense? Yep. So just to recap, totally. So we've gone from... Cool. So just recapture. So we've gone from capturing people. We've gone from a way to convert them. We've now created your offers, which is your upsells and your downsells, having your different pricing points. I think you know, like you said, about profit maximizers, what I call profit maximizers, which is your high ticket ones, which, like you said, should be hands-on, limited. Maybe like one of mine is, like you said, a done with you type service. They can be VIP days, they can be retreats. Like you said, we've talked about that. So you guys are pretty au fait with that type of thing. And then the key is to rinse and repeat. Simple as that. This is how you get an evergreen business. You allow yourself to scale and you allow yourself to create that time freedom, is to rinse and repeat. Create these low end, middle tier products, let them feed in. Like I know one guy, like I said, I follow Ted McGrath. He's an Aussie guy I like. He's a big coach. His program is called Message to Millions. That's his high-end program. That's his big program. I know he has 3 funnels exactly the same, because I know, because I've been through them, because I like to follow. When I study funnels, I study them. And he has exactly the same model for each funnel. Every one of them's the same. So he has a lead magnet. He has a 3-part video for his first product. Then he has a 6-part video for his second product. So he does a $29 sale, and then normally a $69, or sometimes he'll do a $49 to a $97, depending on what value he feels on it. But they're exactly the same. And he has 3 of those funnels exactly the same. They look the same. They're formatted the same. Everything is the same. And then that all feeds onto his sales team, which then convert into his high-end programs. So all of that is continually systemized. That's how he went from earning a few $100,000 to doing about 3 million now, I think he does. Because that process is systemized, it's continual, he knows the numbers, and it's just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And you'll see he'll do one advert for one month, then you'll see his advert for the next one the next month, and he just promotes his 3 different products, all his feeder lead magnets, his giveaway, he promotes them. Converts them with a webinar, and off he goes into those products every time. It's systemized, it's the same. You'd laugh if you get his lead magnet, you get his product, it's exactly the same as the next one. All it is branded differently, and obviously different content, but it's exactly the same format. And that's the thing with funnels, is once you understand the process and the format, you can rinse and repeat it. You can do exactly the same thing. There's a girl in Adelaide called Grace Lever. I don't know whether you know Grace. She runs workshops. So she's called she does doing days. Yeah, Grace. Someone told me to jump on one of her webinars, because I was listening to about, because they know I'm formulating my mastermind at the moment. So I wanted to see how she does her doing days. So I thought I'll jump on one of her webinars. So I jumped on her webinars to listen. The format for her webinar, selling both products, was exactly the same. And I literally had to question myself, because I listened to both, and I had to question myself whether I was listening to the same one over again. That's how similar they are. 2 different products. Both of her products are $997. And they're exactly the same, virtually exactly the same webinar. Slightly different message, obviously. One is about her creating her workshops, and one was about creating, was it Freedom or Mastermind or something? Yeah. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, funnel. So, I watched it as well.
Did you? Yeah. So one of them, because I think that was the first one I got watching, was about the funnels, and then the next one was about her workshops, because I wanted to see about her workshops. And I actually had
something, Kylie.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was really good. To be fair, she's got, and it was because I was like, and because the thing is, what I do, and this is, it's about mastering your skills, because I love sales funnels. I'm forever signing up and studying other people's funnels, because that's what I do. But you always pick up something different. So I picked up 2 things on her webinar process I've added to my webinar. So you'll go, oh, okay, that's how she closed here. So if you listen and learn, like, you always pick up better things. So I was like, I went and adjusted my webinar to add in a couple of slides that she did, because I was like, wow, that's really cool. And it was just the helping with the closing process. And I'm a salesperson, so I'm always looking for top tips. So listening and learning from that, it was good. And I was like, oh crap, she's selling hers at $997. So I was like, okay, so it works for $997 products as well. So, and this is the power of good webinars, is you can convert people into higher end products rather than just low end products as well. So, and that's just a matter of having something of value and a bit of a story to go with it. Because obviously she's a 7-figure earner. She preaches about earning 7 figures and wants you to do the same. So all day long, she can charge $997 for her products now. And again, with pricing and things like that, you can test prices. You can see where they go with the market. And again, it goes with your experience. You've got to go where you're at in your business at the moment. If you've been around for a while, you've got a big following, obviously you can probably charge more for your products. If you're just getting started, you're building your know, like, and trust factor, you're building your tribe, you might want to start lower end and just give away heaps of value for a low cost, while people get to know you more and become more of your raving fans. So again, with your product range and things like that, it's just think about where you're at in your business, but don't be scared to always have that high-end program, because people will always pay for you. They pay for experience. Do you think Facebook kicks us off at 60 minutes? I didn't know that. Okay. So yeah, but basically that's really how to create a funnel. So product wise, like you said, keeping technology as simple as possible is ideally, guys, if your experience is what you're good at, pay someone else to do it for you. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, I see my clients trying to become marketers, tech people, all that all the time. You can go out and sign up a client and pay for someone to do it. So go where your strengths are. Like I said to you, Kate, get out there and speak. Don't worry about the tech stuff. You want to hand it over to someone. Having these funnels in place as much as possible, ideally you can get a good VA to do it for about $20 an hour. They should know enough to be able to set these up. Most good VAs that have worked with coaches and stuff will understand the tech side of it. Some stuff that I use, obviously I love ClickFunnels. I talk about ClickFunnels all the time. It is revolutionizing what they do. It still has its bugs. Every technology has bugs, and it'll keep changing. It'll keep changing and keep growing, keep developing.
I like to.
The landing pages and your opt-in pages, your upsells, because you can create immediate upsells. You can create your order forms on it. It links with, I use Stripe because it links really well with that. That takes the payment processing, that takes your money for you. And you can also create low-end products on it. I wouldn't create a big program on it, like a membership site, because for me, the back office is not strong enough yet. Because when you're handling a volume of members and things like that, I don't think they've nailed that yet. But they will do, but at the moment, no. But for your tripwires, your low-end products, you know, because you've been trying to set yours up, haven't you, Kate? But pay someone, seriously. Like, ideally think about... Yeah, I know. Just low-end products, something that they call it a tripwire because originally it's a marketing type funnel because it's about people to get out their credit card, and the more they get out their credit card, the more they're likely to be tripped into buying the next product, because it's 50 to 60% more likely they'll buy another product from you if they pull their credit card to buy the first product. And that's why a lot of people, if you see a lot of the internet marketing guys, they'll always teach you to create a $7 to $15 product and then something around the 50 to 70. And they immediately upsell straight into it, bang, bang. Because once they've bought the first one, they're more likely to buy the second one.
Look, you know what? I'm guilty of it myself, not producing the pages, but I'm always getting my wallet out.
Yeah.
I'm the easiest person to sell to that there is, I swear.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. So, and that's why it does work. You know, statistically it works. People go, oh, it's just a con, whatever. I hear it all the time. And it's like, and most of those people that say that have an adversity to selling. It's really fascinating to actually listen to them. They actually don't like selling. And it's a mindset. Yeah, it is. You know, the key to getting over that is, you know, you've got a gift to share. It's simple as that. You want to help as many people as you can, and you have to help yourself before you can help others. If you can get yourself to a level and an income level, you can give back so much it's not funny. If you're that type of person, guess what? You're going to set up funds, you're going to help charities, you're going to do whatever. So, you know, no disrespect, but the more money you can earn, the better you're actually going to live your life and enjoy it. If you're that type of person anyway, it's not going to change. Definitely. Yeah, but you can't help yourself. You can't help others.
I don't want to. Yeah, she said, I don't want to earn any more money. What am I going to do? I feel funny about selling stuff that's this high, because she's made a few high-end sales. I said, let's give it to charity. She said, oh, I didn't think of that. That makes me feel so much better. So,
yeah.
No matter. You
Isn't
know
that funny?
Now that you can do that.
Yeah, and you're always going to get blocks no matter what level you're at. Yeah, and you'll always get income blocks. You know, I know people that are making millions that have still got income blocks. So you're always going to hit those plateaus when you get to different levels of your income. And the key is, like you said, is finding stuff that goes back to your deep values. You know, what is it that you value and how do you bring more of that into your business? Simple as that. It's like you said, do you need to set up a charity arm of your business? Do you need to give some scholarships back? I know people that give scholarships for free. You know, do you need to help someone else? What is it that you need to do to fulfill that need? But you can't do that unless you're actually earning. Broke people can't help other people. Simple as that. So stay focused on that in relation to what you're building here. And again, this is not going to be straightforward, guys. Like, you have to test stuff. You know, that's one thing about sales funnels. It's a process. You're going to have to test out whether your lead magnet gets people onto your list. Does it actually convert them? You know, doing your webinar for the first time is going to probably suck. You know, it's going to be awful. It's going to be testing. Like you said, technology tests you out. But once you do it and you know it converts and you've had maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times at practicing at it, guess what? You can then set it up, automate it, and let it run itself. So these sorts of things will test your time. So ClickFunnels is a no-brainer for me in my business. I'm obviously building funnels all the time. I only have one key funnel at the moment. So say you're getting started with coaching, like, or setting up your business, whatever it is, your high end. I wouldn't recommend ClickFunnels to start with. I would just do it on your WordPress site. You can create those simple pages you need on your website. What I do stress to people is don't link it to your heading on your website. And I know that may not make sense, but whatever you do, do not have your menu bar on that page. Keep your landing page separate. Now, so does that make sense? So it's a page on your website. Because they can't click off. But just do it on your WordPress site.
What I teach,
you know,
what I teach my girls, I'm trying to make it even simpler for them, is that it's just, that's okay. So I'm trying to teach my girls to make it even simpler, is to create a list in MailChimp and then create a form. Because have you noticed, like, MailChimp allows you to make the form really pretty? It looks like a landing page.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they've got so much better. Most of those programs. Most of those programs now have got really great forms. They've really stepped up, creating very simple, basic landing pages. Like I started with GetResponse. GetResponse was the same. You know, they've got great landing pages now. So yeah, you can just embed it straight onto your page. You can just straight away put it onto your website page if you want to have it with your brand and your name and stuff like that on it. So yeah, don't overcomplicate. And you in an hour. That's the thing. Do not do that sort of stuff yourself. If you're not techie, don't bother.
Dropping out.
Like, all you have to do is understand the language so you know what you want, and just get someone to do it for you. The time you spend on stuff like that. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Seriously, guys, don't try to become tech.
Language, though.
Yeah, because
but you have to understand the language, even if it's just watching 2 videos that are 10 minutes each, so you know what a list is, so you know what a form is, so you know what a page is. Then get other people to do it.
I recommend with your emails, that's one thing I do recommend people learn as much as possible, is how to do your own emails, is how to put out an autoresponder, how to put out a newsletter straight away, how to set your autoresponders up, because that's the one thing that you want flexibility on. So you want to know that if you want to write an email today because something's happened in your business, you want to get it out there, you want to be able to just go in and do that as much as possible. So that's one thing I do recommend learning. But the actual creating, like, WordPress page, I mean, you can get someone on Fiverr to create your landing page for like $10, whatever. So that sort of stuff, I don't. But what you need to understand is the strategy and the psychology behind it. So if you don't understand where it's feeding your people, like where you want them to take the next step, what your call to action is, and that process, you can't get anyone to do it. So it's your job to understand your clients, not someone else's.
Makes sense.
Yeah, understand the strategy, understand your clients. That's the most important thing you can do.
That makes total sense, actually, because I've just learned something again. I've often not thought about what the big end offer is when creating the little things. Not so much with PT mentoring coaching. That has worked the other way around, but always with fat loss and creating random products all the time.
Yeah. And that's what most people do. And I always call it, it's like throwing shit at the wall, because it's like you're just throwing stuff out there, hoping they'll stick. People get to know you.
I just happen to have been in business for long enough time to throw a lot of shit.
Exactly.
So out what works.
Yeah, you know what works. Exactly.
A lot of shit didn't work, actually, I have to say. A lot of tears. Anyway.
Yeah. And that's why too. So for me, it's trying to fast track you as much as possible. You know, you can just create stuff. Like, the thing is, if you, like you said, if you become a content machine and you just create loads of stuff's going to stick. You're always going to get one person out of something that's going to then buy from you and, you know, want your higher end services. That's the joys of it. So, you know, and again, this is where I beat people up about perfection. It's like, get stuff out there, just do some stuff, create it, see what happens. and then perfect it later on down the track if you need to. But, you know, but try and keep some of that logical strategy in place to think, you know, what are their pains? You know, what do they get up thinking about in the morning? You know, I talked to someone around debt management the other day, a guy that helps with finances and debts and stuff. And he was like, you know, all this jargon around creating, you know, this wealth creation program, all this sort of stuff. And I said, but that's great for your end product, but that's not what people get stressed about, or that's not what they wake up thinking about. They wake up thinking about, how the hell am I going to pay my rent this month? You know, or how the hell am I going to pay off my credit card? It's getting too high. You know, so when you're creating lead magnets, you want to solve those problems. And then they're going to start to go, oh, okay, you've solved that for me. What else can you solve for me? And oh my God, I can actually get to a wealth creation position. But if you try and throw wealth creation at someone that's sitting there worrying about their credit card, they're going to laugh. They're not going to be in the mindset to go, oh my God, that's actually going to help me. So, and again, and this is where you lose people along your funnel. And this is where people will drop out if you don't have that congruency of helping them. So I've just got 5 top tips for creating to think about. So congruency is one of them, is obviously it's the key. Start with the end in mind, and then work backwards. Reverse engineer your funnel. Even if it's only one step to start with, even if it's just that lead magnet, think about what you want to sell. If you don't know your target market, guess what? You're never going to actually create a successful funnel, because it's about problem solving and moving people through. People like to make smaller purchasing decisions before making bigger investments. So make sure ideally your funnel steps through those purchasing decisions. And don't forget, the key to successful sales funnel is to set it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Get it working, test it, tweak it, track it, and see what happens. And the money's in the follow-up. Remember the follow-up. So if you get people onto your list, what happens with them? You should have emails in place to respond to them. You should have them set up so immediately when someone gets onto your list, they get contact from you. So make sure that the follow-up is in place. You know, there's no good having a funnel that feeds you 100 potential clients and then you don't communicate with them for 6 months. So the feedback is in that process. Yeah, so I can share these notes if you want to. And don't forget, don't be scared to use some paid traffic to get leads into your funnel. Content is great. Content long-term. I always call content long-term traffic. Create content like blogs or videos and things like that, and you put them up on your websites, they'll always be there. So they'll always feed you traffic long-term. But if you want to grow your business relatively quickly, you want to start with some paid traffic. You want to start with that Facebook marketing and get people in onto your list. And one of the best ways to still do that is to run live webinars. Whether you're doing anything in mind, is basically start with those, something like a webinar or a challenge or something that's going to get them in, get them to know you quickly, and then convert them into your products from there. And learn the structure once, replicate it. Once you get a structure that works, guess what? Do it again. Go, okay, great. I've got these 2 products. What can I put on the front that's going to make this change? And that's the joys of setting up funnels, is you can then go and change the front end to actually then convert through again. And you can have 4 or 5 different front ends if you want to go to your products from there. So like I said, I recommend ClickFunnels. I use Stripe for my payment. Autoresponders, like you said, most people start with MailChimp. MailChimp's an easy one to get started with. I actually like switching all mine across. I've been using GetResponse for about 5 years. I'm actually converting across, and I'm going to say the wrong one because I've been testing out 2 of them and now I've forgotten which one. It's either ConvertKit or...
Are you changing?
Yeah, because I really wanted to go to Infusionsoft, but I actually don't. Yeah, exactly. And I just don't. So I checked with a couple of people that have actually got off Infusionsoft and what they've gone back to. And I'm having a mental blank of now which one I've chosen. And it's not, I don't think it's ConvertKit. It's the other one.
It's not Aweber.
Aweber is the same. Aweber is just as good. And this is the thing. This is why, again, people annoy me when they go, oh, you've got to have Infusionsoft. It's like, no way. The average person out there, the average coach, doesn't need it. It's simple as that. You just don't. If you become a product creation machine later on down the track, you might want to get something a bit different. And that's because The benefit of the higher end programs, and this is all the benefit, this is the main benefit of something like an Infusionsoft, is you can segment people really easily. So if you're bringing in, say, 50,000 people onto your list a month, and this is big figures, you know, if you're bringing 50,000 people onto your list, you need to be able to segment them very, very quickly.
Don't even have a list.
Exactly. And this is why, like, I hate people that start with this, but I know people that have gone out and started their business with Infusionsoft, and I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I would never touch that until you've got a list of at least 40, 50,000 people and you're doing $1 million, you know, whatever, because you don't need that complication. It's too complex. It's too complicated. You just need a simple list. But ideally you want to, again, and this is where segmentation is really important though, on your list. For example, there's nothing stopping you setting up say a 14-day email autoresponder setup. So where people are getting emails, say every one day to start with, and maybe a bit less as you go along. So they get to know, like, and trust you. So again, you're building that rapport and that relationship with them. Now, there's nothing stopping you setting up a standard set of templates like that so that you have that for your list ready to go. If you're creating lower end products at the front and they're different, what you have to do is just create different lists for those products and change the first few emails so it relates to it. So you can, again, simply duplicate by having people coming in from different funnels at the top, but then just have a little conversion type thing. So it'll be converting it from what they first come into, and think about a little bridge that bridges them into the rest of the sequence. So, and again, but that can be all systemated and automated just through, like you said, MailChimp. But you will create a different list. If you,
I don't know.
Okay. So if say you create a lead magnet, okay, I'll simplify it. No, it's good.
I think it's too much. Good. I think.
Is
it? Okay. No, I think it's too complicated. Yeah, it's way too. The girls actually get overwhelmed when they look at MailChimp, because I haven't even spoken to them about segmenting lists and stuff, because they don't even know how to create a form, and they have meltdowns.
Right. Okay.
They have meltdowns.
We won't go that deep then.
I just need them to email people weekly. That would be great.
Create one form. Yeah. Create one form, one lead magnet or one opt-in for who you want, and then have some emails. And you could, like you said, create the email series, and just all you're thinking about when you create that is they have to get to know, like, and trust you. So again, this is just about building a relationship with the people. So think about it as if you're having a conversation. So say I met Kate for the first time. I always call it a dating series. You know, I'm going out on a first date with Kate. I want to court her, and then I potentially want to marry her. Yeah. So you start that process with your emails, the same thing. It's like little bits. It's like I might share something personal about myself. I might share something personal about one of my clients, like what's one of my clients done successfully. So again, think about just developing that relationship around why they might want to work with you. You know, you're sharing a little bit about your background. You might share, you know, a case study or someone that you've worked with. You can share just some education. Hey guys, did you know I also help with this? And you might share something else. So all that does is, again, think about a courting process. It's like they're getting to know little bits about you. Every time you go out, you learn something about someone new. Every time I talk to Kate, I learn something about Kate. So it's like, you know, you get to know them, and then eventually you want to at least maybe ask them out on a hot date, or you might want to ask them to move in with you or get married. So depending on what they want to spend. And that's the process. If you think about it all the way through just as a dating process, it's building communication, it's building that know, like, and trust, and then you can ask them to a bigger picture. And that can be automated on MailChimp so easily. Once you create that it can be automated and it's there. So anytime someone signs up to your list, they go through that process and that's done. So you only have to do it once and you don't have to do it again. And then you can make an offer to your product.
Yeah.
Or an offer to get on a webinar to sell a product, depending which way you go.
Sounds very easy, but honestly, sometimes some of the tech stuff and actually just even creating stuff can take a long time, guys. So get as much of it done as fast as possible and get it out and see if it actually even resonates with people. But something that Kylie pointed out before, which just keeps re-resonating with me because I forget is that we don't have to teach what the crux of the course is or what our technology is that we use to help people. You have to call the course what the main problem is that people want solved, or the product or the book or the ebook or the whatever. It's whatever the person's problem is that needs solving, not download this and I'll teach you how to have good digestion and come join my 12-week thing. It's not nothing to do with that. People want to lose fat. They want to feel better about themselves, all that stuff in our industry anyway.
Beautiful. Yeah. Always think end result. So it's like, it is like, like when I used to sell houses, you've got features and benefits of a house. Yeah. The feature is, okay, it's got a brand new kitchen. Whoopee. What does that mean to someone? The actual benefit is, hey, they get to entertain their friends and have parties. Yeah. So you're always, when you're selling stuff, always think about the end result in mind. So like, the feature is they've got a beautiful south facing garden. Great. What does that mean? Oh, you get more sunlight, so you get to spend more time with your kids outside. So it's always, what's the benefit to them? So if you're helping them, because the feature for you guys is generally they drop weight, obviously. The weight's a no-brainer. That's what they're looking for. It could be that they get into that extra pair of jeans or whatever, but what's the end product? What do they feel? And try and tap into their feelings. It's like, what are they actually trying to achieve? So like for a mum, for example, it may be that they can run around with their kids and not feel exhausted, or embarrassed in front of their kids. How would it feel to be able to run across that playground and not have to worry about it? So you tapping into those, always as much as possible, tap into the end result of what you give them. People buy the transformation. They don't buy the features.
Yeah.
So like you said, they don't buy that, you're going to give them 6 calls or 5 videos or a workbook. Yes, they have to know that, and they generally have to know that, but that's not what you're giving them. It's the transformation you're giving them. And again, understanding what triggers them with their language. What is it that triggers them with the end result? What are they really looking for? So like mine's always about freedom. Like people don't start a business to create another freaking job for themselves. That's why they started it in the first place, was to get rid of a boss, get rid of being tied down and having more freedom. So they're big things for my clients is like, no, it's like time to get your time back. I don't talk about the fact that, having a product is just, it's not about a product. It's about this end, consistent cash flow is one of my other programs. Like people have this roller coaster, of a job. It's like, no, let's get you some consistent cash flow. That's what they want. They don't want this roller coaster. So I'm not selling that, hey, I teach them how to create a course and how to create a sales funnel. I teach them how to get consistent cash flow, because that's actually what they need in their business. Yeah. So always think end result as much as possible when you're selling products. But don't make it too airy fairy. When you're naming stuff, like you said, don't name it this gobbledygook where people go, what the hell does that mean? Some of the best courses I've seen is how to do something. It's like people, if you lose people with the name, then you've just lost them altogether. So you want to speak to them with the end result. So it could be, like you said, what's yours? 28-day rapid weight loss. Is it result? 28-day rapid result.
It's 28-day rapid result.
Yeah. So, and then you would have for what? So that's the difference. So 28-day rapid results, great. But then I'd be sitting there going, for what? So, and again, and this would be ideally would be for what? For what's the end result? For feeling healthier, for transforming your healthy life or whatever. What is the for bit? Why do they need it? What's this rapid result?
It's to transform your body. It's just to get the URL and the advertising to work. There can be no word of fat, and you know what Facebook's like creating ads for us.
And that's really important, because quite often you'll have the domain name is something short and sharp like that. But the key is to then have something that goes with it. So like I'm creating just a short product at the moment called Stream of Clients. But it will have something to go with that. So it'll be, how to create a stream of clients for coaches struggling or whatever it is, because it's going to be something specific around that. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, it's again, who does it speak to in relation to when you're naming stuff, it's either you're speaking to a specific market. So, for example, there was a guy that used to be an author, and he learnt Facebook. He used to smash his sales because he learnt Facebook marketing, yeah? So he sold so many of his books by himself because he suddenly nailed Facebook marketing. So he created a Facebook course, but originally it was just called a Facebook course, you know? But when he put Facebook courses for struggling authors, because it suddenly spoke to a market. So if you speak to everyone, you'll speak to no one. That's so powerful in any of your language, and anything you do. Anytime you're creating lead magnets or products, if you speak to everyone, no one will take a notice. So you have to, again, get specific as possible. And you can normally get specific in two ways. It's either a specific type of target market or it's a niche niche problem solving. Yeah. So like I have my...
You've given me an idea. I'm going to make 4 pages.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go.
You've going to give me an idea. I'm going to make like 3 or 4 pages, and one of them will be just for mums. 28-day rapid results for mums. First baby weight loss, blah, 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 blah. All these other things. There's a menopausal one.
For busy mums. I do busy mums because busy means that's who your target market is. They're really busy. So yeah, for busy mums. Yeah, for mums on the go or something like that. Because again, and that's niching down because that's who you want on there, because that's who you help at the end. Yeah. So it's like, so think about who your target market is for your bigger program. It's like, who do you want on there? Who do you want to attract in and filter them as much as possible? So who's your ideal client for your 90-day program?
Yeah.
Got it? Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we haven't sent everyone into complete overwhelm. I did, as soon as I get
a bit of that, but guys,
off here, I'm going to upload
you questions below.
Lead magnet, my funnel that my designers just sent me back. Okay. So I'll put that below the video afterwards so that people can opt in and see that. So at least they can see what the process looks like. I've mapped it out so they can actually follow a funnel through. And I'll add some links on. Actually, that's what I haven't done, is actually put some links on there to pages so they can actually see the pages live. So I'll do that. I'll get that back within the next hour. I'll have that up underneath the video. So as people watch the replay, then they should be able to grab that if they want to grab it for free. But yeah, hopefully we've just to recap. So we've kind of gone through what is a funnel. Why do you even need one? Why bother? Because obviously it helps your life. It creates freedom. We've talked about the different steps. So we haven't really talked traffic, but I think we'll confuse them. All we need to know with traffic is it's people, eyeballs on your stuff. Think about it as eyeballs on your stuff. It's more people seeing it. Capturing, obviously, creating your lead generation machine is how do you get those leads? How do you get people onto your list so you can build a relationship with them? Quickest ways to convert, like we said, we talked about videos, we talked about webinars, challenges, things like that people get to know you really quickly. Having your product ecosystem, your offers that work together. So your upsells and your downsells is how can people buy from you at different price points. Having your profit maximizer in place, so having that high-end program, which I know most of you have now, and then rinsing and repeating, looking at it so that you can automate it, rinse and repeat. And the key is, like we said, in the follow-up, making sure that you're following up with processes, because there's no point feeding the sausage thing. If you do nothing with them, they'll just go off. If you don't cook them, freeze them, or do something with them, they go off. And that's what happens with your list. They just disengage. So if you don't do something with them once you put them in there, then there's no point. You have to make new sausages. And that costs you 3 times the amount. Yeah. And that costs you a lot more money. Like when I used to run my estate agency, my sales business, you know, I used to run $1 million sales office. And one of the biggest things we always looked at was the price, obviously, of our marketing, the cost of it, acquiring a new client. And it costs you more to acquire a new client than it does to sell to an existing client. So again, if you have different price points and different offers, guess what? You can resell to existing clients, you know, or if you've come in contact with them, then you want to obviously do something with them. And people forget this. And they do get stuck. They go, oh, great, I've got another email address. And people forget there's a real person behind that email address. You know, there is a real person that reached out to you to have a problem solved and to get help. So remember that you're connecting not with an email, you're connecting with a real person. And the more you do that, the more you communicate with them and the more you help them, the more they're going to buy from you. It's simple as that. So that's sales funnels in a nutshell. Awesome. Did that help?
So let's maybe see what well, yeah, actually, I've got a lot out of it as well. Let's see what questions the guys come up with in the group. If anyone watches, like, right to the end now, and let's see what happens as far as maybe we come back and we do a version 2 of this. I know I'm going to get you to answer more specific questions for another group of my girls that I've got. And that's on next Tuesday night, Michelle, because you're watching. Yeah, and then as far as funnels, thank you for your prompt, Kylie. I've set up a 7-day, no, it's a 14-day get more clients.
I just saw that
thing that I just launched in the group tonight. So yeah, that's in the
really
group
good.
Tonight, and then that's
and I want to say that because the thing Kate started to think about, and this is the process you got to go through when you're thinking about your funnels, is she really did sit down and go, okay, my clients, this is one of the things they struggle with a lot. And it's like, so how can you pull that knowledge out of a bigger program? Obviously, I know you teach this new 90-day program, and I know you help people really build their businesses, but it's one little product that you can create and actually help solve someone's problems. And also, if you can create something that then helps them move forward. So, like you said, if you can then able to sell that and actually get more clients, guess what? They're more likely to buy your higher end program. So again, if it's something you can help them shift through that then frees them up to do more with you, even better. So well done on creating that. I saw that, and it's perfect for your clients. It solves one quick problem. It's simple and easy to deliver, and it feeds into your bigger program. So, hey, look, if they go and sign up 2 or 3 clients, but they really want to now know how to nail their business as a whole, they can come and work with you on their 90-day program. So it filters beautifully. So well done. Yay. Woo-woo. Love it.
And now I'm going to relaunch the 28-day program and do it more specifically across 4 things. So thanks, guys. Please.
Awesome.
Sorry, do you have anything else to say, Kylie?
No, just ask any questions.
Thank you
I'll keep an eye on this feed, and yeah, my pleasure. Anytime. Always happy to connect and chat. I'll make sure, like I said, in the next hour or so, they've got access to that lead magnet. They can have a look at how I set one up. So yeah, if you want to have a look at one,
and I'm going to tag. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm going to tag Kylie.
Yeah.
Actually, as soon as you make a comment, gee, God, I don't know technology. Well, I don't really know this Facebook Live thing. As soon as you make a comment, it'll tell you, won't it? If someone else comments, etc. So if you're watching a recording, feel free to ask Kylie later. I will upload this onto YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'd love to. Any more questions?
In the next couple of days.
Yeah, and even if you start the process, anything you're stuck on, anything you're stuck with on your funnels, anything that you've got a query, like bounce some ideas, guys. If you want to share some ideas for some lead magnets, you want to share some names or some topics or what you're thinking, please share. Like, I'm hanging around with Kate and I get really well, and, sometimes you just want to give value back. So, if there's anything that you want to ask about your funnels or share, just post some comments and I'll come back and answer them, no problems at all.
Thank you so much. They're probably, actually, what's today? So tomorrow, Friday, so the personal trainers are going to bed now. They're going to bed because they're starting to work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Crazy cats. What time is it over there?
Yes, I was going to say it's probably really late there, isn't
it?
Yeah, we've done it.
2 o'clock. No, it's not.
It's 12:30 here. I'm going to go and get some food.
Yeah,
I got back from my gym class, didn't I? So I'm like, starving. Cool.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't eat beforehand. Anyway, thank you so much for making time.
I had a protein shake on my way to the gym. Yeah.
Does it, girls? No, we need to eat like 5 times a day. 6, 7.
I know.
Anyway,
cool. Lovely.
Place your questions below, and we'll get back to you really, really soon.
Sweet.
And I'll
speak to you later, Kate.
In a second. Kylie.
Lovely. All right, done.
I'll press finish. We'll upload it, and I'll talk to you guys in the group. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Bye. My pleasure.
Bye.